You bet on yourself.
Correct.
And look at us now, doing what we want to do.
In our homes.
In our homes, child. In our homes. New Orleans through and through, which is crazy to me.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on the Elation Podcast today, where we enjoy exhilarating euphoria through creation and collaboration. Today, we're here with Malik Mingo. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. And yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm good.
The chair is comfy. The team is ready. And I'm ready.
Ready to go. TV host extraordinaire, huh?
Yes, slight work,
Awesome. So, how's your holidays going so far?
It's actually been a great holiday. Christmas was great. New Year's was great. Trying to work on that New Year's resolution.
Right.
25 pounds in 2025.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to try to do. Luckily, I got all year.
All right. Lucky you got all year. Right.
We're going to see what happens.
Right.
Okay?
So you could do it in the last 2 months.
Exactly. Literally. Yeah. But honestly, so great. Carnival season in New Orleans right now. Love Mardi Gras. So I'm super excited. And the Super Bowl?
Absolutely. Super Bowl.
In New Orleans?
It's coming. I'm excited. It's been a while.
11 years, I want to say, maybe more than that, but I know, I just learned today, this is the 11th time New Orleans will have hosted the Super Bowl. Can you believe that?
Wow.
11 times.
And it's been 11 years.
I feel like it has, because last time was 2013, so 12 years.
Okay, 12 years. You're
Child,
right.
I work in TV, okay? Math, you know what I'm saying? 12 years.
All right. Well, it's okay, because we already had Taylor Swift here anyway. It doesn't matter, right? That was like 3 times what the Super Bowl brings, right?
Can you believe it?
No, I can't, because 3 nights.
I know, right? I can't believe it.
You know, but well, it's good to see you. And why don't you tell everybody where you're from, what school you went to, and all that stuff. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, well, I'm from New Orleans, the fabulous city. But of course, Hurricane Katrina caused my family to move. So we moved to San Antonio, Texas when I was about 9 years old. And I spent the rest of elementary school, middle school, high school, went to college out in Texas, got my first job out in Texas. So I like to say I'm New Orleans born, but Texas raised.
Okay, got you.
And I came back here in 2019 for the job that I do now. And it has been just the best 5 years, almost 6 years. And I love New Orleans so much.
That's awesome. No, it's a great town. Well, what connected you back? What happened? What was that conversation, or who did you talk to? What happened that ended up bringing you actually back?
I hate to say this, and it sounds very cheesy, but it is true that I didn't choose New Orleans. New Orleans chose me.
100%.
Like, I was looking for a job, a different job. I come from a hard news background, covering city government, crime, all of the stuff that's important at the 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock news, but it wasn't something that was bringing me joy anymore. I loved informing people, but it was just something that wasn't for me anymore. So my contract was coming up at my last station. They were begging me to resign, but I knew for myself that if I wanted to continue on this path of elation, right?
Absolutely.
I was going to need to find something that I wanted to do. So I knew lifestyle, entertainment, the lights. It was all what I wanted to do.
Right.
But for a job that I do now, they come a dime a dozen, because when you get to interview fabulous people, eat great food, try great drinks, talk about amazing things that make your city great, those hosts stay in that position for 30 years, 40 years.
Right.
Who wants to give that up?
Right. Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain, may he rest in peace.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I thought he had the best job in the world.
He did.
Honestly.
He did. See it in.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah, and so I was looking for a couple of jobs. They had a few positions open. I applied, had some great interviews, but nothing really stuck. So then I was at a point where, my contract is coming up. I have no job. I don't want to resign. So do I step out on faith and say, I'm just going to be jobless, right?
Right.
Well, lucky enough, once I knew I had about maybe 3 months left of my contract at my old job, I just started reaching out to different entertainment and lifestyle shows all across the country. And the show that I host now, Great Day Louisiana, was one that I just reached out to on Facebook.
Wow.
I literally said, hey, I'm looking at getting into this type of television. Here's my work. Can you check out my work and give me some feedback? Wasn't asking for a job.
Right.
Give me some feedback. am I going in the right direction? What would you like to see more of? What can I do to be more appealing to
To
people
this
who
type
do this
of
type of job?
right.
And it was about 2 weeks later, I got a message back saying, "Hey, so sorry for the late response. We would love to talk to you." These are the producers of the show,
Right.
"We would love to talk to you. Can we set up a time to meet with you?" And I was like, One, I had forgot that I had even sent it because, again, 2 weeks later, they finally
Right.
replied.
Right.
And then two, I was like, hmm, they want to meet with me? This doesn't sound like giving you feedback, right? I was just expecting like a response via the message, right?
Right.
But I ended up meeting with them over the phone. They were like, "We're looking for a new host of this show, yada, yada, yada." And after multiple interviews, coming down to visit the station, meeting the team, doing an on camera test, almost 6 years later, I'm sitting in New Orleans still,
That's
living the
awesome.
dream.
All of a DM.
All off of a DM,
That's
okay?
crazy.
So bet on yourself. That's one thing
Absolutely.
that I tell people all the time when I speak to people, speak to students who want to go into television, who want to go into maybe lifestyle and entertainment. You have to bet on yourself.
You have to jump.
You have to jump.
You cannot stay behind the curtain. You've got to figure out how to show yourself in the moment, in that situation, and let it be known what you need. And most of the time you're going to get something close.
We're two perfect examples
Yeah,
because you were like, "I want to start this entertainment company, do all this." You bet on yourself.
correct.
And look at us now
Correct.
doing what we want to do.
In our homes.
In our
In
homes,
our
child. In
homes.
our homes. New
Yeah,
Orleans through and through, which is
absolutely.
crazy to me.
Absolutely. Well, do you have any music background at all?
I used to play the violin in
Okay.
middle school
Awesome.
and like the first year of high school.
Okay, awesome.
But then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like to listen to music
I
instead
got
of play
you.
music
Well, that was
anymore.
like me. So I played piano a little bit growing
I'm
up,
jealous.
and then I got into guitar at like, let's say like 6th grade. But by 7th grade, football had kicked in, and I realized I can't do football and guitar at the same time because it was just taking up too much time with school and all that. So I chose football,
You did?
unfortunately, because I'm not playing in the NFL.
Oh, okay. Hello.
But the love of music obviously never went anywhere. So,
Yeah.
once I finally realized like, all right, well, I can try to make money in music, I got back into it. So, but it's funny how, things can deviate you,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. You'd think you would want to do one thing. Like for me, I went to a health focused high school in San Antonio, Texas, where they were training us starting from the ninth grade all the way up to 12th grade how to be doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, anything in the medical field.
Right,
And you know how it is growing up. Oh, we want you to be a doctor. We want you to be a lawyer because those are the jobs that pay the most money.
right,
But I realized in 10th grade, that is not what I wanted to do.
right,
I wanted to do something that brings me joy, kind of like you with football and
right,
music, right?
right,
Yeah, it'd be cool to be playing in the Super Bowl in New Orleans in
right,
February, but you know what also would be fun? I like music, producing, playing, doing whatever with music.
right.
Let me go back to what's something I'm
A
passionate
hundred
about.
percent.
And same thing with me. I always liked watching TV growing up.
Right.
So the Oprahs of it all, the Sally Jesse Raphaels, the Ricky Lakes, the Wendy Williams, the
Right.
Arsenio Halls. I was
Right.
like, this is something that always brought me joy, and now we're doing it. High five for us. High
High
five for
five,
us.
high
High
five.
five for
Well,
us.
100%. Well, in Arsenio Hall, man, I miss him. That was
Mm-hmm.
what a funny show that
Mm-hmm.
was. But that's awesome, man. No, and so you said you enjoyed. Well, I guess you did hard hitting journalism
Mm-hmm.
before you got to
Mm-hmm.
this. How do you feel? I mean, because it's kind of a deep topic. How do you feel about what happened in New Year's? I
I mean, it's
mean,
absolutely horrible. It is
yeah.
absolutely horrible. I remember before I was leaving my last job, I was actually called on a Saturday morning to go cover a school shooting at a neighboring city in Texas, Midland, Odessa.
Okay.
So when I heard about what happened to our great city, I was heartbroken. I think it's just Unfortunate because, I agree with a lot of
The
people who have been
first
saying on
terrorist
TV.
attack.
Exactly.
The first terrorist attack ever
Exactly. Exactly. In New
in New
Orleans.
Orleans. We're the pirate town.
Mhm.
Nobody comes down here and messes with us.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And it was just so heartbreaking because I was in San Antonio at the time, visiting family, friends. My mom still lives out in San Antonio. I have a twin brother. He actually lives out in San Antonio as well. And I remember on New Year's Day, I'm getting all these vibrations and phone calls. I'm thinking it's just friends calling me, texting me, saying, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. But then my mom comes in and she's like, did you see what happened in New Orleans? I was like, no. So then I get on my phone. Of course, I look at my television station,
Right.
WWL, and
Right.
I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
what is happening? Because it was just so heartbreaking to see. And I ended up posting on my professional Facebook, on Instagram, all that, because people were wondering, is Malik okay? I had wrote this long thing because it took me all day to finally say something because I was so upset. People
Absolutely.
who go to Bourbon Street, a majority of them, they are going to Bourbon Street to have a good time. You
Absolutely.
know, I don't know you, but you also love this song.
Mhm.
Let's dance together. Let's have a drink
The Big
together.
Easy.
The Big
Yep,
Easy,
100%. All
and
barriers are broken down. We're
exactly,
here to have fun. We both
exactly,
know we're here to have fun.
exactly.
I
So
don't
let's
need
have
to
fun
know where you're
together.
from, what you do, what you're going, what you want to know. All we
Hmm.
know is right here, right now. We're both drinking the same thing. Let's
Exactly.
have fun.
Let's have
Yeah,
fun. And that's what the energy I feel like it was going to be like on New Year's. It probably was
a
like
hundred
that.
percent.
And I applaud like police. I applaud, of course, our local media, the national media too, for doing the best job that they can. You
Right,
got to also realize that officers, news anchors, reporters, producers, firefighters, all of those people are people too,
hmm,
who live in the same city as you do. Yes, we're trained, we can handle, I think, anything,
right.
but you also got to realize this is our backyard too. I will never forget when I saw the video of him driving around the police car because people need to also understand there was protection there. Yes, the barriers were not working, but there was still a police car there.
Right.
When I saw that truck go around him, I felt so bad for, of course, the people who were there, but the officer as well. He was there, he or she, I can't even tell who it
Hmm.
actually was, but you could tell that they were there, they were ready, and as
Well,
soon as he flew, woo!
do you notice in the picture, like in the video, like since I watched the same video,
Mhm.
the police officer, and I don't know if I was a police officer, I don't know if I know exactly what to do at that moment. If he
Mhm.
drives around you, do I get in the car and drive after him?
Right.
No, because there's more pedestrians that could hit. Or do
Mhm.
I get out of my car and run after him, but he could get so far away from me because he's driving?
Exactly.
Like, what do I do in this moment?
Is there someone behind him that's gonna come, and now that the car's not there anymore,
L-
more cars are gonna
like
go down
like
that street?
like how many decisions got to go through your mind in
At
that
that
moment?
moment. At that moment. And that's what
Right.
I keep telling people. Yes, things could have been done differently, but people have to take a breath
I
and
agree.
understand what was going on at the
Right.
time.
Right.
And it's just unfortunate. And I also tell people too, as well, when you look at what that man was going to do,
He was gonna figure out a way to
he
do
was
it.
going to figure out a way to do it, whether we had every police officer in the country on the street
Right.
or no police at
Yeah.
all.
No,
So,
you can't stop someone's ideology from they only have to be right once. We have to be right 100% of the time, right? That's kind of
exactly.
how the way it goes. But well, that's awesome. Well, so Great Day, Louisiana.
Mhm.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about it. What's your favorite thing that you do there?
Interview fascinating people.
Okay.
Getting to meet fascinating people and talk about things that are just fascinating, you know? Like I was telling your crew before we got started on the show I did today, we talked ball fashion, right? Because
It's
carnival
coming up,
time is
right?
here.
Right.
How can I dress to impress? Interviewed a local author who just came out with a new children's book. Interviewed a new restaurant in Kenner that's serving Honduran food. And then, this is New Year,
Right.
right? So we talked about like, if you did make a New Year's resolution, but it's not panning out to be what you want it to be, how do you rethink the resolution?
Gotcha.
Fascinating stuff, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that's just what's so wonderful. And shout out to my producers, shout out to the entire team. They know the type of things that I want to talk about. They know the things that I'm going to find fascinating. I bring those ideas to the table as well. And I also appreciate that my producers think of things that I would not think of.
Right.
And for example, like ball fashion today, we talked about women and gowns and all that stuff. Obviously, we don't wear gowns, right?
Right,
To a
right,
Mardi
right,
Gras ball, we're gonna wear
right.
tuxedos. But it was fascinating to me to hear the stylist who brought on all these models what a woman should be looking for when trying to pick out a ball gown, what you need to really think about when they give you an invitation with certain attire, what not to wear, what to wear.
Because if
So
you think about it, they
it's
normally give
fascinating.
us a playbook. Like
Exactly.
I don't get to pick. I just have
Right.
to wear this tuxedo.
Exactly. Wear a black tuxedo with a bow tie.
Right,
Easy.
right.
But there's so many different types of gowns and
Hmm.
accessories and all that. So it was fascinating stuff.
Very
It
cool.
was cool.
Very cool. Well, so what do you think is your favorite story you've ever had on?
Oh my God, so many. So many every day. Every day. And I know it's cheesy to say this, but there is like beautiful content coming out of the show every single day. It's a 1 hour show, 7 different segments, meaning 7 different topics.
Right,
It's on 5 days a week from
right.
9 to 10.
That's a lot.
That's 35
That's a
topics
lot of
a week.
information. A lot of information.
I promise you, there's going to be something beautiful, interesting, fascinating,
That's a
entertaining.
lot of information.
It is. It is every day. Every day.
What's the war room like?
What's the war room?
Yeah.
Hilarious. Well, look, in hard news, back in my hard news days, it was definitely more of a war room because you have breaking news, you have
Yeah,
things
yeah,
happening,
yeah.
emotions are high, adrenaline is high. Luckily, it's not like that so
Yeah,
much
no,
in
when
the
I say the
lifestyle
war room, like
entertainment.
for mine, it's fun. Like I like sit and make fun of everything so that we can
Yeah.
get all the jokes out the way
Mhm.
and then we can get down to the questions.
It's fun. I will say, so by war room, you mean like before we get started with the
Yeah, the
interview or like,
producers and like how they sit down and talk to you about the live show and how you get on, live TV afterwards and project that. Like let's talk about the experience of being on live TV basically.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. You're in and you're out. I think sometimes what people get hung up about is that if they know that they're going into a taped experience, which it is a taped experience, you can be like, oh, I make a mistake, they'll edit that out. Oh, I'll
Mhm.
do this, blah, blah, blah. But on our show, when you come on,
Right.
let's do it.
Right.
Let's enjoy this experience together.
Right.
And the war room, I love that. I can't wait to go tell my producer. The war room, right? It's fun.
Right.
It's not always glamorous at times because
No.
you have 4 different minds. It's me and 3 of my producers, right?
Right.
Coming up with topics because the good thing about news is that it happens, you report it,
Right.
right? In lifestyle entertainment, we don't have to wait for something to happen
Right.
to tell you about it. Sometimes that's difficult because you got to think about, well, let's see, there's nothing going on in New Orleans this week, but we have to fill a 1 hour show. What are some things that we can think about
Right.
and have on the show? For example, like the ball fashion, right?
Right.
That's something that luckily we just came up with, right?
Right.
Yeah, balls are not necessarily happening until really in February, but hey, here's a conversation that you need to think
Prepare
about
for it.
right now.
Yeah.
So it's fun, it's a creative space, but it can be like challenging sometimes because if you don't have anything to talk about,
Right.
what are you gonna talk
Or the
about?
right guest
The right guest.
like the ones that freeze up on live TV. I mean, we do a tape situation here, obviously, because
Mhm.
of the podcast, but even here, people give you like one word answers. I'm like, and
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 oh, it happens all the time. But I always tell people before we get started, if I make a mistake, will you be able to fix it? No.
no.
And 2, there's beauty in the mistakes. Who wants to go and see a show where every single thing is perfect?
Right.
We're humans, right?
Right.
And that's really where the beauty is. Look, I do not pronounce every word correctly.
Right.
Sometimes I mispronounce people's last names. Hello, it's New Orleans,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes I may get the question wrong. The information that I got was wrong, but that's okay.
100%.
We're humans.
100%.
If you get cut, you bleed. If I get cut, I bleed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I
Absolutely.
tell people that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
just be
Oh,
yourself.
listen, I was we're in a tape situation. There is times where I can't do my ending properly, and like I'll do it like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, okay, that's it, done, bye. Whatever it is, it is. It's like I
No,
just
it's
can't.
like
I
that.
can't really keep doing it. You know, like it just and our brains are not computers,
Right.
and sometimes there are roadblocks.
Absolutely. I remember yesterday at the end of an interview I had, my producer had wrote a tease that she didn't tell me about. So it was in the prompter to read, but I'm not always reading the teleprompter. I'm enjoying the interaction with the guests, right? The
Right.
prompter is just a suggestion.
So you're not Ron
you know?
Burgundy.
No, absolutely not. But as we're wrapping up the interview, she tells me in my ear, read the tease. And I'm over here like,
Right.
I'm nowhere near the tease.
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, why didn't you tell me this before we got started?
Right.
So I'm trying to ad lib the tease and I make a mistake, right? But I'm like, you know what? Whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be great. So join us after the break,
Right,
And I was like, my producer's like, oh my God, that was bad. I was like, no, it wasn't. And the whole floor crew, they're like, no, it wasn't. Because I think sometimes people think that it needs to be perfect. You're on TV, buttoned up. I don't agree with that.
I almost feel like live TV helps you in that situation.
It does.
Because if it's taped, I need to get it perfect in my head.
Correct.
But if it's live TV, at some point you say, "Fuck it!" We're here.
We're here.
We're here. I screwed it up. Sorry, guys. Laugh with me. Let's figure out the next way forward.
I think that makes people more, likable.
It's human.
It's human.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people all the time. Like, my producer's like, you said that wrong. Okay, and?
That's what's going to separate us from AI.
Exactly.
Oh,
that's a whole nother conversation.
I mean,
that
is
the AI.
That is what it's going to separate us. Like, because there's not going to be a computer that screws up that I'm going to identify with.
Mm-hmm.
He's just everything's going to be fucking perfect. So,
exactly.
So that's what it's going. That human element. I mean, in music, that is what separates us as well. I mean, those songs, those iconic songs, through the 70s, 80s, 90s that we all attached to. Most of it was not perfect music.
Right.
It was a blend of perfect frequencies that created something new that we all attached to.
And think about a live performance, right? Say you go and see somebody, they're performing your favorite song and their voice cracks or they start crying.
Or they miss a word.
Right. I'm like, I get it. First of all, people have to understand, this as well in the world of entertainment, there is a lot more going on than just singing the song or asking the question.
Absolutely.
You got to think about time. You got to think about placement. You got to think about everything. So there's more that the person who is entertaining you,
correct,
doing and thinking about.
Absolutely.
Than you think. So offer them some grace. And if you don't, watch something else because everybody else will be.
It's a job.
It's a job.
And if you don't stumble in your job, you're not trying.
That's a message.
Right?
It's because it's true.
Right?
And use that stumble as a learning opportunity so that next time you'll be even better.
Right, 100%. Because if you're sitting there on the desk doing nothing, then you're not going to try and you're not going to stumble. You're not going forward. You're not doing anything. You're not going backwards. You're just sitting there.
And if everything's perfect, where is, like I said, the likability in that? Because the world's not perfect. People aren't perfect.
Right.
I think the best thing that people can do is the best that they can. You know what I'm saying? And if in that moment you're not able to do something perfectly, that's okay.
100%. But I also say like live TVs can sometimes bring out the best in people.
I agree. And people will forget. Like if you make a mistake, people will forget.
Oh, yeah.
When they watch you the next day, they're not going to remember, you said Burgundy wrong.
Not only that, but I feel like sometimes it gets the veil taken off. And you're like, well, they only have that moment, so they're just going to give you everything they can, and it lights them up.
Yeah. It's true. And that's another thing about like live TV. My producers know I love live TV because you're in the moment, you're in it together.
Right.
You are experiencing it as the audience is experiencing it. And to me, There is nothing like that. You know, we're planning our live Super Bowl show coming up in February right now, and I am so excited for it. We're gonna do like the NFL experience
Yeah,
at the convention center where they take over the
absolutely.
whole thing. You can like throw the
Absolutely.
balls and all that stuff. I'm
Awesome.
so excited because at the end of the day, we're all gonna get to experience that together.
Awesome.
It's gonna be lit.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Awesome. And do you have a favorite position in football?
Oh, no, you gotta stop. I can talk about a lot of things, but football is not one of them.
Okay. All
Okay,
right. Well, you brought up the
we'll say
experience.
the
So
quarterback, right?
there you go.
Well, there you
All right,
go.
there you go. The
Woo.
quarterback. Boom.
Yeah.
All
What is
right.
it, Derek Carr for the Saints?
All right.
You
yeah,
see?
Okay.
I
all
got
right,
you.
Good.
Alvin Kamara, I don't know what position he plays, but him too.
Oh, come on. Running back, man. Running back, man.
You can teach me. You can teach me.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. But that's good. No, I can't wait for the Super Bowl. I think it's great for the city.
Who do you think it's gonna be?
Ooh. Okay, TV host.
I know, right? Even I have guesses, and I don't even watch football like that.
I'm gonna go Eagles Lions.
Okay, Eagles, Lions. You don't think Kansas City's gonna go for the three-peat?
I don't.
I hope not either.
I don't.
Look, shout out to
I
Patrick
don't.
Mahomes. He went to a Texas university just like myself, but
I think they're
I
gonna
don't wanna see
lose
that.
one of these close games because they've been playing nothing but close games
Mhm.
except for the last game, which we won't
Mhm.
talk about. But playing nothing but close games. I think at some point the 8 ball rolls the other way,
and you said the Eagles and
and the Lions.
the Lions. Okay, if he's right, I owe him a drink, okay?
Okay, all right, that
I
works.
think it's going to be the Buffalo Bills.
Okay,
I would
all
love
right.
to
Love
see
Josh
the
Allen.
birthplace of Buffalo Wings in the Super Bowl.
Okay, all right,
And the Baltimore Ravens.
all right. I like that game.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
like that game. All right.
And what's interesting, one of my producers, we were talking about this yesterday in the War Room. I love how you call it that.
Yeah.
She was saying how when the Ravens won the Super Bowl 3 years ago, they had a quarterback that was 28 years old and a coach that was 34 years old. And guess what they have this season? A quarterback that's 28 years old and a coach that's 34 years old.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I'm not trying to put out no conspiracy theories,
Okay.
but
All right. Well, hopefully the power doesn't go out this time.
oh, Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
Yay, nay.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you want a Lil Wayne.
Okay. All right. So first of all, I'm born and raised here.
Yes.
So, okay, I understand Wayne is not a great performer.
I've seen him. I enjoyed him.
I enjoyed him, but he's dwindled out.
And I don't think
A
he's
little bit.
Super Bowl, right? Lil Wayne can go on stage and rap.
But my thing is, okay, no, I disagree with you on that. He's a rock star in a sense of he wants to come out and smash a guitar, ride a skateboard, and do all kinds of different stuff going on in the middle of the Super Bowl
I
and
missed that.
perform the whole time. Like that can beat Lil Wayne 100%.
Really?
Oh yeah, you've never seen him play guitar?
I have never
Or-
seen him play guitar.
Or skateboard?
No, I saw him at Essence last year, 2 years ago, 2023. And I thought he was great. He had commanding energy, but he didn't play no guitar or ride no skateboard.
Well,
For
so-
me, he
but-
was just up there
Well,
rapping.
so that's my point. Is I think he's fallen off on how he does his show. But I mean that he at one point he was coming out as that type of icon rock star.
Mhm.
Okay, on stage. Now, my only problem with the Kendrick situation is, and I respect Kendrick as an artist.
Yes, great
for
new
what he's
album out.
done.
Mhm.
I understand he had the biggest song of the year because of the
Mhm.
Drake diss. I understand
Mhm.
all that stuff. I understand that the people in the corporate went, "Who's the biggest song of the year?" Oh, Kendrick. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, done. I get all that, but this is New Orleans,
Yeah.
okay? When these Super Bowls now go to these towns, they get the essence of the towns that perform for the most part.
For the most part.
Atlanta gets Outcast
Yeah.
and that whole situation.
LA got the whole
LA
Dr.
got the
Dre,
whole
50
Dr.
Cent
Dre,
thing.
the-
Yeah.
Miami got the Fat Joe
Shakira.
and Shakira and all
Mhm.
that situation.
Jennifer Lopez. Yeah.
J-Lo.
Mhm.
Where's ours?
So you wanted Lil Wayne.
I don't know if I can. It's hard for me to say Lil Wayne by himself. I wanted a Hot Boys Cash Money. Wait. I wanted a Cash Money No Limit reunion together on Super Bowl.
But
That's
do
what I
you
wanted.
think that has international appeal?
I do.
I love the Hot Boy reunion, all that, but I don't know.
I do, because it brings a certain togetherness that wasn't there for the city, number one. Number two, the Cash Money element does bring the international side. Mystical was the only one that reached really international status on the No Limit side, who can't perform nowadays.
Right.
But if you were to bring in the Cash Money element, you would definitely get those songs that reach national wave. I think it would just be a huge New Orleans reunion type of situation, and it would be that moment that as a city represented what we want to represent for the Super Bowl.
And listen, we don't know what they're doing for Kendrick Lamar. He may do that. Probably not, but he could.
Kendrick might bring out Wayne. I don't think he'd bring it out anybody else.
I wonder if you're Lil Wayne expressing that you wanted to do the Super Bowl.
He's not coming out.
And then Kendrick asked, you think he wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't either.
My time needs to be my time.
This is your moment.
But I appreciate Lil Wayne. I don't know if you heard, but when he was like to the NFL, I would love to put my hat in for the Super Bowl. Let's not forget here, somebody on the committee for the NFL halftime performer for the Super Bowl is Jay-Z.
Yeah.
When Lil Wayne put his hat in the ring, what I really appreciate is that he was like, y'all gotta understand, this whole, Cash Money reunion, all that, it may happen, but at the end of the day, this is my time.
Right.
I would love to share with some people, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure the Lil Wayne songs are performed first. And I appreciate him for that. But I also appreciate the NFL. It's a very New Orleans national anthem, America the Beautiful, and the Black national anthem. You've got John Batiste singing the national anthem.
Right.
That's New Orleans. You got Lauren Daigle, who's Louisiana, singing America the Beautiful, with Trombone Shorty, who is New Orleans.
Absolutely.
And then singing the Black national anthem is Lettucey, who is New Orleans. So we in there.
All right, I get it.
We in there.
I get it. I just hope ESPN shows it this time, because they didn't show it last time.
Did they?
No, they didn't. Can you believe that?
And I want to see that.
Including the silence. Yeah.
Do better this year,
everyone.
I mean, I want to see it all.
ESPN, owned by Disney, you better do better than that. You better be doing better than that. Come on now.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, man. Well, so what's the best way you feel like you collaborate with your producers for your show?
Just through conversations. What I really appreciate about this experience that I've had with this job is that, when I got this job, I was 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I had 1 year of television experience. Of course, I went to college and I did internships and all that stuff. But as far as doing the job, I had a year experience. And you're asking me to not only go move to a new city, be a part of a show, host the show by myself. And I was like, oh my God, I'm scared. But I was up for the challenge, right? You have to be, right?
Absolutely.
When we were talking about earlier.
100%.
You've got to bet on yourself.
100%.
I'll never forget when I went to do my camera test with the producers, everybody watching. They made me do 2 different things. They made me do a talk like this with somebody.
Right.
Nobody I've never met before. We didn't even get to look at the stories. We didn't get to look at the teleprompter beforehand to see what we were going to be talking about, how to say the words, all of that.
Right.
It was all blind. And then I had to figure out, how do I create an energy with a stranger that I just met?
Right.
But I had to do it, right? And then after that, yes, we talk about a lot of fun, fascinating, exciting topics, but we also talk about other things that are not so fun and fascinating. So, out of all the interviews they had set up for me to be a mock interview to see if I can interview people, guess what the interview was about? How to prepare for death with a funeral home? What are the things that we need to start thinking about
Oh,
right
wow.
now
Wow.
if we are about to plan for our death? So you
Wow.
went from having a fun conversation with a stranger talking about like this and that and X, Y, and Z to now having to flip the script and have a serious conversation.
Wow.
And again, did not know any of this was happening.
Wow. You
They
see,
put me right on the spot.
wow. You see, I think I would have flipped it back on him. I think my response would be, well, I'll tell you how it needs to change. We
Yeah.
shouldn't be depressed
Right.
uh, when we're trying to elevate someone to their next realm of this, whatever spirit world we're in. We should be having fun.
I agree.
We should be having bartenders and full
Yeah.
on nightclubs experiences, and truly like having LCD screens behind the caskets, and we need to be full entertainment on the way this
Which I agree
goes.
with you, and I love that perspective for sure. I completely agree with you, and that's what we try to be at its core, a show that's about fun. I like to call our show infotainment, right?
Right,
It's information presented in an entertaining way,
right,
right? And sometimes because we are lucky enough to have seen such success with our show that there are some businesses that will pay to come on the show to
right,
promote their business.
right.
And a business that comes on actually frequently is a funeral home.
Wow.
So the reason why they did that interview was twofold. One, can he have serious conversations? And
Correct.
two,
Can he
Eve
somehow turn it into an
exactly.
enjoyable conversation?
Exactly.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I was like, at the end of that, I was like, oh my God. Because again, I had
Yep.
been in the business a year.
Yep.
Like I had never had an experience like that before,
Yeah,
but
no, that's crazy. So
we made it.
a little bit of a snippet about me. So my grandfather, who I respect and built an empire that allowed me to have a lot more amenities and experiences than most people would have had. But one of his first jobs was digging graves, and he came from a little town in Kentucky, and he started digging graves in like, I want to say like seventh grade, seventh, eighth grade. And then by the time he became a sophomore, he talked the guy that owned the funeral parlor into allowing him to go door to door to sell funeral plots and stuff like that, and caskets, which selling death.
Mm-hmm.
That was his first sales job. Your first sales job is selling death.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
he was one of the best salesmen I've ever met in my life, but not in a sales of like push you into something you're not going to want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Like sales in the sense of getting to know the person,
Mm-hmm.
identifying exactly what they wanted and giving it to them.
And I think that's maybe
Which
what's
is old
something
school
that had him
sales.
be so successful is because at the end of the day, it wasn't necessarily about the product he was selling, right?
Right.
He enjoyed being a salesperson,
Correct.
you
Right.
know?
But he enjoyed it. What he enjoyed actually was attaching to people.
Yeah, which is the
Eh,
part of the job.
Correct, and he enjoyed learning exactly who that person was, how their personality reacted to things, and what they truly needed in life, and fulfilling that goal. Like he truly enjoyed that moment,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that you do on live TV,
Mm-hmm.
because especially when someone pays to come have their
Mm-hmm.
advertisement done, they have a goal in mind,
They have a goal in mind.
you know, and no matter what that service is, you need to shed light on it.
Gotta shed light on it and try to do it in a way that it's like, oh, they're just trying to sell me something. But at its core, learn something. You know what
Right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Like for me, when I first did the real interview, because we did that mock interview, right? Got
right.
the job. And I want to say within the first couple of months, that funeral home came on and we did the actual
Wow.
segment, you
Wow.
know? And again, for me, it wasn't about like, oh my God, grim and gruesome, but it was like, yeah, this is an age that I do need to actually start thinking about this because there are over 100 decisions that you have to
Right.
make
No,
at the
100%.
time of death,
100%. Well,
and
and for me,
you got to do it.
that feeling of it needs to change is real, because when my dad died, we did the funeral, and I was in charge of a lot of it. it was so archaic and so like 1994. Might as well walked in there with a VCR tape. Like nothing was streamlined and done properly for me to showcase the slideshow, to play music. Like I had to do all kinds of different setups and things, and I'm sitting there thinking like, why am I worried about any of
Right.
this? You
Right.
know, and the guy that I'm talking to, the funeral home, 70 years old, he's never even pressed play on the damn thing. You know, like I'm sitting here thinking like this is not an exit strategy that I would like.
Right.
I want people to enjoy the moment
Mhm.
and have it kind of more of an actual
A
like
celebration, because
celebration.
that's what they would have wanted.
Right.
You
But
know
like
what I'm
in
saying?
any other event in the world is taken care of like that.
Right.
Funeral is just not.
It's just not.
It's just
But
not.
I mean,
So,
New Orleans would do it
but
differently.
well, the second line, you know, we'll get it out there and we'll do it outside,
Mhm.
you know. But no, but that's awesome. And that's a real test,
It
man.
is.
That's a real test.
It was surprising, but thank God I passed it because
that's
I wasn't ready for
that's
that.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, what do you think brings elation to you in your life?
Ooh. Okay, first let's define
So the
elation.
way I define it is peak happiness.
Peak happiness. I would also define it as that because I've heard it two different ways. Elation, like peak happiness, some people call elation just peace.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But I like the happiness definition.
Yes.
What brings me peak happiness? I mean, life. I think for me, my journey in life has just been so just unbelievable. Remember, like I told you, I had a job, but I wanted to go into the dream job, hosting lifestyle and entertainment.
Right.
And there was no path for me, but I created a path.
Right.
And I think for me at that moment when I got this position, when I got the show, I was already at peak happiness because I tell people this all the time. Think about your dream job. If you had no barriers at all, what would you like to do in life? And I had always told people, once I realized I did not want to be a doctor in 10th grade, I would love to host a television show talking about fascinating things in an amazing city. Did not get that right out of college,
Right.
but I never forgot about that dream. And when it came around that I had the opportunity to create my own dream,
Right.
I jumped on the opportunity and it's just been wonderful. And you know, look, there have been a lot of sad times
W-
throughout the
It's
years.
about the journey,
It's about the
not the
journey,
destination.
not the destination. And what
Right.
brings me peak happiness doing what I love to do because you got to be honest with yourself. We got to be honest with everybody. You're going to spend most of your time at work.
Right.
So if you're going to spend most of your time at work, might as well do something you
Enjoy it.
enjoy, right?
Yep.
My friends bring me peak happiness. My family brings me peak happiness. Watching television, nothing brings me more joy than a Saturday where I have nothing to do. I have some great Chinese food and a whole bunch of television shows to catch up
There you
on.
go.
That's peak happiness for
There you
me.
go. All right.
That is peak happiness.
Well, I like
What
that. I
about
like
you?
that.
You named a business after the word
Elation.
elation. So, what brings you elation? People have asked you this before.
Okay, so actually, not as many people as you think.
That's what we do here.
Not as
That's
many as you
what we
think.
do.
Leave it to the TV host to put me on a live TV here.
Come on.
You know, so for me, I think there's two parts of it. One is creation as a whole. Like I just love creating things from nothing. Like whatever it may be, whether it's a tool that we don't have that makes things a little easier to use. Like you know, my dad owns supply boats, so I kind of grew up working with him, and he invented all kinds of tools that he needed on the boats and never patented anything. And so just creation as a whole, and music creation, like watching or letting watching someone listen to something I create, and it creates a moment for them, like that's definitely elation. But I think it's the true elation for me is getting to know people.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
I enjoy getting to know people, which is why the podcast works so well for me.
Mhm.
But I truly enjoy getting to know people's experiences, learning from people's
Yeah,
experiences,
that's what it's all about.
talking, about people's lessons and things that they've done in their life that, whether it ever identifies with anything that I do in my life or not, I still learn from it.
Right.
So I feel like just people as a whole, and I almost feel like that's a part of me because of New Orleans.
Mhm.
The city we have
Mhm.
is none like it's not like anything else. I mean, like there's I've traveled around a little bit.
Mhm.
There's no city that I've ever walked into, big city. There's lots of little towns that are
Mhm.
like this.
Mhm.
But big city I've walked in where you just go sit at the bar and you turn to your left and your right and you just start having a conversation.
I completely agree.
And by the end of that conversation, you know somebody.
And it's magical, isn't it?
And it's completely natural, magical. It's not scripted. There's no identifying marks of goals to it. It's just, I'm here, you're here. Let's experience this moment together and get to know each other.
And I wonder why more cities are not like that. I always wonder, why is New Orleans that delicious city that it is? Because like I told you earlier, I was in San Antonio for the holidays,
Right.
and I would walk into the store. I would like say, "Hey, how you doing?" Talk to these people. Nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. No,
If you
nothing.
go into a store in New Orleans and somebody is not saying hello to you
There's
and it's
some,
a stranger,
there's something weird.
there's
Yeah. There's a
something weird
robbery
going
going
on.
on.
There's a
Yeah.
robbery
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always wonder,
Yeah.
why do you think, especially as somebody who is born and raised here, I'm born here, but not necessarily raised here, why do you think we are like that?
I,
It's not the Southern charm, because you'll go to some other city.
that,
Texas is
that,
a part of the South, and it's
right.
not like that.
Right. No, I don't. For me, I always contributed to back to the pirate city
And I love how you say that. Yeah.
because so my heritage, uh, my it goes back to Jean Lafitte the pirate.
Hmm.
So, Nat Chickazola, who was Jean Lafitte the pirate's first mate. He's my great 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 uncle. So I like to always go back to the pirate side because I feel like it's in my blood a little bit.
Yeah.
But we were the city that you went to duck away from everybody.
Hmm.
We were the city that embraced you when no one else did.
Hmm.
We didn't care about what you did when you weren't here. We cared about what you did when you were here, and
Hmm.
that's it. And so I feel like that experience has grown into the culture of what America is, and we're one of the few cities that still feels that way. Like we can hide you, like like in a fun way. I'm saying that not like not like in a, I guess you could say, a devious way, but
Right.
like the real adult Vegas. Like if you want to go away and do some debauchery, you go to New Orleans. You don't go to Vegas because everybody forgets about it in New Orleans.
Right.
Like, so I just feel like it's that type of vibe.
Well,
And
someone told me one time something that I just love so much. Do you know why New Orleans is called the Big Easy?
I don't truly know the answer to that.
And I didn't either. And this guy, he told me New Orleans is called the Big Easy because anybody can make it here and everyone is welcome here. It's easy.
That's a great
And I
answer.
said, I like that.
Yeah,
So I tell everybody that.
that's a great answer. That's a great answer. Well, we both love the city.
Love this
We
city.
we both are doing things hopefully to make it better and to
Yes.
bring light to people that are doing good things in this city. So
Hmm.
I appreciate you
Of course.
and hope I hope we can make things great for this 2025
Come
because
on.
it's going to be a lot to talk about this year. A lot to
Absolutely.
talk about.
Absolutely. Hopefully more good than bad. But we're ready
Yes.
to have
Yes.
conversations about anything that may
It needs to be
come up.
real. That's all I need to say. It
It needs
needs to
to be
be real.
real. It needs to be
100%.
real.
Well, let's tell everybody your socials and your all that stuff so that people can find
Yeah,
you.
well, look, follow me at Malik on TV. Very simple, MalikOn TV. The name of the show, Great Day Louisiana. Weekdays, 9 o'clock, WWL TV. You don't live in New Orleans? That's okay. It's 2025. Download the WWL TV app and just press watch live.
There you go.
And that's it.
Awesome. Well,
That's
great.
it?
Well, that's awesome.
Well, look, shout out to your team. This is the coldest water ever, and it's delicious.
Awesome.
Okay, so shout out to your
All
whole
right,
team. It's
absolutely.
fabulous.
Shout out to the team. I'll let them know they got the cold water.
Come on, cold
All
water.
right, the agua frio.
Yes, come on, Spanish. Bilingual podcast. Si se
Absolutely.
puede.
Absolutely. Well, great. Well, thank you, and thank you for joining.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on this.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to give you a tour.
Yes, I'm excited too.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. And if you would like to like and subscribe more to Elation Podcast, we'd appreciate it. Thanks so much.